Canada is inarguably a very messed up country right now. There are so many broken policies, such as there's actually an incentive to commit crime, because normally, back in my day, when you committed crime, you would go to jail and serve the time. That's why there's a literal saying called, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But that's not the case in Canada. It's do the crime and we'll forget about the time. That's just one policy. There's another where the Bank of Canada just keeps hiking interest rates through the roof, where what would have been like a $1,200 mortgage a year and a half ago is now $2,500 to $3,200, or even above that. In the average mortgage rate or mortgage cost across Canada is like between $3,000 and $4,000. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're taking a look at a final warning, basically, from Pierre Poilievre to Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government to fix the country and stop making things worse. It sounds like this is like cuckoo land. It sounds like you're a right-wing, crazy conspiracy theorist if you view our policies, our country, through the lens that I'm about to provide, or that I've been providing through this YouTube channel. But the reality is, as liberals like to say, if you break it down, that's how it is. It's like a sadistic movie where the bad guy dresses really nice, is clean shaven, wears a suit and tie, and smiles, and tries to be or portrays himself or themselves as a likable person. And in this case, the bad guy is Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland and the Liberals. So, let's just get into it. Enough of me babbling. Before we do, though, I want to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps grow the channel. Without further ado, let's just see Pierre Poilievre break it down and just expose Justin Trudeau and all of his basically criminal behavior policies.
So, Justin, how do you expect people to pay their bills now? You remember? You told them that debt had no consequences, that interest rates would be low for long, and people could borrow as much as they wanted, and there'd be no problem.
That was a horrible thing to say.
In the span of a year, interest rates have gone up by 4.5 percentage points, a 19 times increase in barely a year. Canadians who believed Justin Trudeau enough to take on monster million-dollar mortgages in order to afford the inflated homes that they had to buy in formerly affordable communities now don't know how they're going to make their monthly bills. We already see Canadians experiencing $600 and $700 monthly increases in their mortgage payments. And according to the Bank of Canada, over the next 3 years, a large share of Canadian households will see their mortgage payments go up by 40%. I want you to think of what that means. If you're paying $3,000 a month, you could see your mortgage payment go up by $1,400. That's over $15,000 a year for a family that brings home 80 grand after tax. That vaporizes a quarter, or in some cases even a third, of their entire take-home pay, not for mortgage payments, but just for increases in mortgage payments. Now, we have, after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, the most indebted households in the G7. Over $2 trillion of household debt. In other words, household debt is equal to the size of the entire Canadian economy today. Think of what this means mathematically. Every 1 percentage point increase in interest rates equals 1% of our GDP. A 2 percentage point increase, 2%, which is more than the average annual growth of our economy. We've had a 4.5% increase in 1 year. This is on the verge of becoming a crisis. And that is an overused term, but I want you to consider this. The people who took out million-dollar mortgages in 2021 and 2022 will be up for renewal after their 5 years in 2026 and 2027. As these hundreds of billions of dollars of debt collide with the massive increases in interest rates, there will be a severe default crisis. That is not according to me. That is according to last week's report from the IMF, which says that Canada is the single most at-risk country for mortgage defaults of any country in the G7. Justin Trudeau You are, and your spending, your out of control debt and taxation are leading us headlong into a full-scale financial crisis, and I will not let you do it.
Yeah. Hell, I'll even clap for that.
Now, it is true that the government does not set the interest rates, but it does set the policy that drives inflation, which forces the bank to raise interest rates. And if you don't believe me on that, I know I've been saying it like a broken record for 3.5 years. If you don't believe me, then listen to the Liberals themselves. John Manley, the former Liberal Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, said that Justin Trudeau, by spending all this money and running all these deficits, is putting his foot on the inflationary gas pedal, while the Bank of Canada is pressing down on the brakes with higher interest rates. Stephen McNeil, former Liberal Premier of Nova Scotia, recently said that it is, in fact, domestic deficit spending that is causing the inflation and not some global factor. Indeed, the Governor of the Bank of Canada has said that the inflation in Canada today is a domestic phenomenon, not something Justin Trudeau can simply blame on the rest of the world.
Which they've been trying to do.
And Liberal insiders have now admitted the exact same thing. So in other words, the domino effect he is creating by running these deficits is that he drives up inflation, which drives up interest rates, which could drive up defaults. What do we do to save Canadians from this financial catastrophe? The answer is to reverse the policies that got us into the mess in the first place. Absolutely. And look, we thought that the Liberals agreed, because it was only 6 months ago they put forward a fall economic update, which promised to balance the budget by 2027. Now he says balanced budgets are dangerous. Well, only 6 months ago, he said he was going to do it. This is not a promise from 8 years ago, when he ran for office on all of his lofty promises and unrealistic commitments. This was 6 months ago, when his finance minister wrote her fellow colleagues and said, you'll have to find savings to match the new spending. And she said that deficits pour fuel on the inflationary fire. She was absolutely right, up until the point where she introduced a budget that poured $60 billion of inflationary fuel on the fire. That's $4,200 in new inflation for every family in Canada. Well, conservatives are fighting back. We have announced that we are going to use every parliamentary tool in our toolkit to block this disastrous, risky, and inflationary budget from passing until
which they did, by the way. Pierre Poilievre filibustered for nearly 4 hours. To be exact, since we like to use facts here on this channel, it was 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 29 seconds of non-stop speaking until 11:45 Eastern Standard Time in the House. Absolutely incredible that he did that.
The commitment to balance the budget in order to bring down inflation and interest rates. And today I am announcing that I will be on my feet at roughly 7 p.m. to stand up against this budget, and I will keep speaking and keep speaking and keep blocking this inflationary train wreck until the Prime Minister rises with a plan to balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates.
And I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler. Trudeau did not show up. He did not raise any points. And Pierre did speak for the full 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 29 seconds. A full-blown filibuster, which we have not really seen to that extent here in Canadian politics in a really long time. The Liberals have filibustered in the past, but for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 29 seconds of non-stop talking to block the budget, with a few points of order from his caucus to aid and, I mean, help the situation. If there was Liberals interfering, there was a Liberal there eating popcorn as if it was a show, making a mockery of our monarchy system, our democracy. And so Pierre Poilievre has proven himself. If you've ever doubted him, he's proven himself with this recent filibuster that he has the Canadians' best interests in mind. He's really fighting for Canadians and our rights. And that's what we need. We need a real person in power to do the job that the Canadian people deserve and for the outcome that this country deserves. Canada's a beautiful country. The land, the people are well, I don't want to say our culture. Our culture is basically multiculturalism, which is its own issue, but we have a real opportunity to reshape and bring things, as the conservatives like to say, home. My home, your home, our home. Let's bring it home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Just visit the merch site, which is linked down in the description below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.